quick recap of what we did last time. We looked at filtration and substrate. Today's episode, we're going to actually look at putting nice ornaments in our aquarium. What's a good way of getting lots of hiding places for the fish, and what's the correct way to treat these things to make sure that it doesn't affect your fish. I'm going to cover all of that in this episode, as well as looking at how our rescue goldfish has come on over the last couple of weeks. Hello and thank you for joining me on the Fishkeeper Life channel. I have created this channel to share my fish, my goldfish that I brought because nobody else wanted him. We're currently in the journey of making sure that our rescue goldfish has the best life possible, and in this episode, episode 3, thank you for joining me, we will be actually looking at how to decorate an aquarium to make it look amazing. All the setup, the fake plants, the wood, the bogwood, we'll cover all of that today, and you'll see how I do this for our setup. So with me, it started by going into the garden and looking for nice smooth stones and rocks that we could use for the aquarium that could be potentials. We're going to have a look at how these can work for us and if they're a good idea. You'll notice I went around picking up all the nice smooth stones, which tend to be river stones. So I took the stones into the garage and went to my brushes cabinet section of trays. I pulled out a nice firm brush which will actually help us to clean these stones up, because that's a key element of making sure that anything that goes into the aquarium is safe, also clean and tested to see if it would affect our water parameters. I'm going to show you a number of testing techniques. One's a fairly standard one, and one you can actually use from your testing kit to make sure if the stones react. So first up, I'm using rainwater and the brush. We're just going to clean off each stone, paying close attention to the type of stone. You may not want stones in your aquarium, so it depends what you actually want to keep in there. However, I find that because I've got a 4-foot aquarium, if you remember from our first episode, I've rescued the goldfish and I'm setting up an aquarium for a safe place for him, and I'm hoping he'll grow healthy and big. I want to make it half sand, half stone bed, lake bed type environment, because it'll be pleasing to the eye, as well as give him places to hunt for food, because when you drop food down he tends to pick at the food. So these stones are various sizes. I'm thinking of building them up. I will also have additional fish in there, so I've got little tetradanials, smaller fish, which will use this as hiding places. And you know what, we've got a weather loach, no, not weather loach, hill stream loach. It's like a little stingray, and they like to be around lake stream beds, so stones are good places for them to forage around. So that's another reason why I'm using these stones. Just be careful with the stones. You don't want to get cracked stones or broken stones where that it can leak or cause any issues. I'm just picking out the best stones here, which are smooth and appear to be of one material. You get sometimes stones that have like lines of limestone or different types of stones, but a quick visual inspection where they're all equal and smooth tends to do well. I've put some of these in my aquarium before, so I'm just picking off some more and updating that to see how that works. So that's a good process here, just washing them away, and then we'll move on to the next step of testing them. Once they're washed, just a quick visual inspection. Like here, you'll see there's a couple of different types of stones here. Some are chipped, some are broken, some are not, and they're nice and easy to identify as river stones. You can normally even go into a builder's yard and buy a bag of these and wash them off. First thing is vinegar. Put a couple of drops of vinegar on the stone and see if there's any reaction, and that's a quick way of finding that if there's any issues. Also testing the pH of your water. You can normally, by looking at a stone, you can normally tell if it's going to react or not. If it's quite rough and coarse, a chalky texture, then I don't normally use those. But anything that's nice and smooth is actually quite a good stone. Like this, for example, there's no reaction at all. I'm going to test all the stones like this and see how they work. And this is going to make up a good section of the aquarium fish tank to give it a natural vibe. So we're going to get these tested and get them to the next step. If you're liking the video so far, it'd be great if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out and the goldfish, just to get some more people seeing his beauty. In a later episode, you will see the types of food I feed my goldfish as well. Here's a quick sneak peek of that. We're going to get on with the stone and decorating in a second. but I wanted to give them a quick feed. This is bloodworm dissolved in aquarium water, and they seem to love this. Just gives them a little boost while they're eating. Let's get back to our stones now. So you can see I've tested the stones here, and all we need to do now is wash away the vinegar, and then we're going to do a bit of extra treatment. This isn't really a solid way. Not many people online agree with this method, but I'm going to give it as an extra option. I normally boil up water and spill it over the stones just to kill off any bacteria or parasites that the brushing and washing hasn't done. So that's an extra step that you can do just to give yourself extra peace of mind. Just be careful with it, because as boiling water can burn your hands, so just be mindful. I'm using a brush here just to wipe off any of the options or anything that could be remaining on the stones, and having a closer inspection of the stones at this moment is good as well, just to see how they reacted to the water. Then comes the interesting part of putting the stones in your aquarium. Make sure to let them sit out and cool down, because you put boiling water on them, you want to make sure the temperature is lower. Now this is my most interesting part, because this is where we get to lay out the stones in an interesting way in the aquarium. So what you'll note here is I have actually used play sand. This is Argos play sand that I've used in my aquarium in the base. I'll do a separate video about, is it safe to use children's play sand in your aquarium. I actually made a video about this about 10 or 11 years ago. I might link to that in the end screen or in the cards, so check the description or the cards where you can see that. And it shows that over time it's actually quite good. And all we're doing now is we're actually just adjusting the ornaments and the sand to one side, and I want to start laying out the stones on the floor to create a bit of a lakeside river stream bed. I have got a wave maker which creates current in this aquarium, and it will be interesting to see how that reacts with these stones. I don't want sand to collate here. I want this to be stony, especially for our hill stream loach who loves this type of environment, and the smaller fish can forage around here. So I'm just laying out the stones individually, and you'll also see the fake plants here which I put, and I'll show you a few of those and how those worked out for me. I also found that bogwood in my aquarium was quite good. It's basically wood that's been sunk into the aquarium, and that creates a little bit of extra environment for bacteria, and also I notice it helps with the aquarium water. For some reason it sucks away little parameters, so I don't have to worry about the water as often. It keeps the water clear. There's no tannins in mine. Tannins is basically when the wood leaches in water and it releases like a bit of discoloration in the water. I've had these bogwoods in this aquarium for a long time, so they're actually quite well acclimatized with water, and they don't leak anymore. You can see in the background there in my hand, I'm just going through the sand, picking out any of the stones that have been buried into the sand and bringing them over to this side, just to have one nice location where the fish can relax. And you can see as I've finished, I'm coming towards the place where I think it looks quite nice. I've basically piled up a load of stones on one side of the aquarium, which allows there to be some extra places for bacteria to build up. So you'll notice anything in your aquarium will start building up bacteria and slime around it. And because I have sand in this aquarium, there's not a lot of gravel that will actually build that bacteria up. So having stones in there is actually a good thing, just to balance my aquarium out. So I like the fact that I've got one side which has a lot of stones on it now, and it just creates little hiding spots for all the fish, and they can have a bit of excitement with new surfaces, and they can feed off them. When you throw food on there, it falls between the gaps. I find this is an important process during this setup. We've rescued our goldfish, we've got the aquarium, we've got him acclimatized, we've set up the filter, we've set up a substrate, we've also now set up some additional nice looking environments for him. The fake plants, I'm going to give you a quick section about the fake plants. I'm thinking I might do that in my next episode, because there is also different types of backgrounds you can add on the back of your aquarium. So stay tuned. In the next episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about these fake plants, the substrate about sand, and the backgrounds, and how we can put interesting backgrounds to add a bit of depth to the aquarium for visual inspection. I painted my background, but you can get little what you call these, like wrapping type papers that you can stick on the back of the aquarium. So on screen you'll see the next video in the series. Check that out, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate you being here.